Would you like to know more why functional medicine practitioner and holistic nutritionist is the best combination? I love functional medicine testing because through this, I was able to uncover, for example, why my client had a brain fog and why she had migraines, why she was putting the weight on despite not changing any dietary changes, why she was not motivated to exercise, why she was forgetting names of people, and whether or not she was in perimenopause. So now I will give you a sneak peek to some of the results. And I'm sure that by the end of this video, you will be like, I want this. So let's have a look. One of the favorite tests is gut health because gut-brain axis, this bidirectional communication, is crucial for the health. And so as you can see on the first page, we are looking at the gut diversity, this key corporate word. And we need to have good and bad bacteria, and we need to have different species. And you can see that this woman didn't have a good score. And then we were looking at the other markers. For example, does she have a leaky gut, intestinal permeability? 2.3, yes, she has a leaky gut. What does it mean? That everything that she is eating is leaking into the bloodstream because the cells should be close together like this. And when there is a zonulin, the marker zonulin, it opens the gates and all the pathogens, viruses, and bacteria can enter the bloodstream and cause many issues. This has also impact on her cardiovascular health, liver, IBS, the irritable bowel syndrome. Nutrition was good, hormones were good, but SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. This is why she was getting bloated 20 minutes after anything that she was eating, even though it was healthy. And she unfortunately had also some markers for the IBD, which means intestinal disease. So it's usually like ulcerative colitis or Crohn's disease. So that was quite severe. And I'm not going to go through all this in here. Actually scanned it in a bad way. But zonulin, the fecal anti-gliadin. So gliadin, it's a protein in the wheat. So of course she needs to be gluten free, but also fecal zonulin. And you can see that fecal zonulin was like so high. So this test is very, very comprehensive with calprotectin. And if we discover something that is really out of the balance, I refer her to a gastroenterologist that are on my list. Yeah. So this is the gut health starting point. Then we are going to look at grain because she told me, look, I am pretty much gluten-free, but she was still consuming other grains like rice. Who would believe that rice could be the trigger for her? So quinoa is fine and rice is not. So every time when you think I am gluten-free and you are buying, for example, gluten-free pasta, which is made out of rice, if you are repeating it, your body can trigger immune system and immune reaction to the food. Yeah, so I absolutely love running this test because it's not only for this grain, it's like a much longer test and we can see what she should eat. Then we did, of course, wheat. So we were looking at to which parts of the wheat she is reacting. And then we did also dairy because very often people tell me I am lactose free, but lactose is just a sugar in the milk. There are other components like casein or whey protein that you might have in your protein powder, and you might be reacting to that. And then we are also distinguishing between casein A1 and casein A2. One of them is from cows and it's more inflammatory, and that the other one is not. And you can see that she is reacting to many things, many parts of it. And it's not allergy because IgE, that would be allergy, but it is IgG, immunoglobulin G, and IgA. So it's basically her immune system, and this is food sensitivity. So this is delayed reaction. It does not happen immediately, like allergy. When you have almond allergy, you get swollen within minutes and you need to use EpiPen. But with food sensitivities, it might take up to 72 hours before anything shows up. Okay, so this was the dairy, and then we are running, for example, also heavy metals, because when she told me about the brain fog, this is very often caused by some heavy metals, and as you can see in her case, it was barium. And I do always the research, I do the summaries, and I was like, where can this be coming from? Believe it or not, she just told me that she lives in a very old house and she's drinking the water from the sink, and actually barium came from the contaminated water. So now she's buying Volvic, like me, to get out of it. And this list is also very long. We saw there, for example, nickel and other things that she will need to take care of. What else we do? We do, for example, urinary test. And this urinary test, it's hormone urinary test, because she is in perimenopause, and we wanted to see all the metabolites of the estrogen, and if there is any progesterone. There wasn't any progesterone, low testosterone levels, and we are also checking cortisol. Why cortisol? Because very often when women go through the hormonal changes, this is an extreme stress for the body, and the cortisol is out of balance because it's the adrenal glands that take over. You can see that she's also over methylating, yeah, so that's also not beneficial. And then we have she's pretty much out of the balance with all her hormones, but you can see that her cortisol levels very, very high, yeah, so free cortisol in the morning. She was like extremely stressed, so it can be psychological, chemical, and mechanical stress. And so we are looking at all of it, and then I'm even explaining to her how everything works. This is a brilliant test. And not only that, we are looking, I love it. We are looking at the enzymes. So these enzymes, when you see, for example, CYP3A4, they can be either upregulated or downregulated. So they are breaking down the estrogen very fast and in a different way than we really want. Yeah, so some of them you can see are broken into 4OHE1, which is damaging the DNA. So we are looking, okay, so your red one is quite high, the blue one as well, yellow is safe. What can we do about it? And then we are balancing it, so we are either upregulating or downregulating these enzymes with certain supplements and food. This is very, very complex. We were also running the test for soy, because she told me, I sometimes try to eat soy. No, soy is not for her. And I always tell people, look, if you come from Asia, and your genetic predisposition is to have enzymes or break down soya, that's perfect for you. If you are not Asian, chances are you are not going to be a good friend with tofu and other great products that come from Asia. And let me actually show you even lectins. So you have maybe heard about lectins. What are lectins? Lectins are substances, it's actually a poison in food. And sometimes when our immune system is already triggered, the body might react to it. You might have heard about nightshades vegetable. Yeah. So peppers, you can see she reacts to it. And of course, she had to eat this food before we were testing it. Because I had to see the reaction of the body. Understand that IgG, immunoglobulin G, has half-life, so it's basically detectable in the bloodstream for 7 to 21 days. And so if you are not eating the food, you are not able to detect it. So that was a homework for her, to eat as much as possible of this food. So I showed you a lot, but there is so much more testing that we are doing, like the DNA tests and oxidative stress. If you are now saying, what is the price of these tests? And there's a catch. If you have the concierge program 360 functional medicine, I negotiate the prices with the laboratories because they always give me discounts. So what I'm able to do is tests that, for example, this client, the test would normally cost 3,800 for the test. But I negotiated and we paid 1,500, but she had 11 tests. Then usually people order like 3 tests, and with my negotiations, I can get it usually for like very, very comprehensive tests. So one test normally costs around $520. I order this from the US or sometimes from the UK, and I can get 3 tests that would be normally worth 520. I can get it for 700, 800. But this is only for the concierge package. Then in Happy Hormones, I can help you to give you instructions, and sometimes I can help you when I have discounts to order it. And then in a metabolic reset package, there is no time for functional medicine, so we don't order anything. I usually expect you to already have some testing. So functional medicine is the best. And you can watch the video about the packages on my website.